So this is our locker room. I spend probably like 95% of my time here during the season, and even out of season, a lot of time here too. A lot of us like to use this space because it's just for us, and it's it's like a privilege to have it. So we try to use it as much as possible. So whoa. So this is our lounge. As you can see, some people are heading out for a special right now. This is Nara Elia, 5th year. I'm going to be shooting on Lucy Morgan, our starting goalie. This is the lounge. As you can see, Sophie Holden here is doing some homework, I guess, so we do a lot of homework in here. I spend most of my time in here. This is where I do my most work, probably. Here at the Student Center. As you can see, we have a bunch of snacks over there. And the balloons are from senior day, the past weekend, so it's still a little decorated. Okay. And over here we have our dressing room where we obviously dress for games and practices. We hang out here before lifts too sometimes. And if you're like Sky, you do some homework in the middle chair there. Yeah, these are all our individual stalls. We keep all of our hockey specific equipment type things in here and spend a lot of time in here too, so. Hockey's at 6:30, but like, will they flood it now or?
I think your best bet is to get on.
No. Okay. Okay. So I started playing hockey a year later than everyone else in my town. I played like little soccer, like the little kids soccer, with a bunch of families that we were friends with at the time. And one of my dad's friends said something about putting us in hockey. Me and his daughter, and my dad was kind of like hockey. Like my family's actually pretty like heavily involved in baseball. My 2 brothers play baseball, and my dad played baseball. I'm pretty sure my mom played softball, so that's all of them except for me. And so my dad was kind of like hockey. Never really even thought about it, but it was like $99 for I think a 2-hour commitment every week. It was ridiculous. So they did it, and I couldn't really skate at the time, but I took the season. It was like I was like 6, I think, and by the end of it, I was like really fast and could skate pretty well. So, and it kind of just took off from there. From there on, I played, I think, 2 more years of house league, and then I was right into, we call it rep in Canada. I don't know if that's the same in the States, but yeah, I played the top level up until I was in grade 9, and then I started playing a couple years ahead of my age group in the top level. We call it juniors in Canada. It's a little different than what's in the States for boys and stuff, but I played 3 years of that. So I was in grade 10 I was in grade 9 and 10 playing with older grade 12s. And when I finally got to my grade 12 year, I had the privilege of playing for the Canadian national team. We played over in Japan. I played with 2 of my teammates, Julie Gosling and Shaylin Snow. And we ended up winning that tournament over in Japan. Played the States in the finals and won 3-2 in overtime. And that was one of the greatest experiences I'll ever have for sure. But it's also great to kind of carry that over here, especially freshman year, I guess, when it was a little more recent with 2 of my teammates. So what's kept me most motivated in my 3 years here so far has definitely been my sophomore year, which was last year. The hockey team, we came back in the spring and the summer semester, so we skipped the fall, and I was a little nervous about that, to come back at a different time of year and that I've never really been here for. So we came back early and we had a couple practices, and then we went straight into it and we played Clarkson down the road there. And in the first, I think it was the first 20 minutes, so the beginning of like maybe the third, I went on a battle. It went into a battle just past the red line, and I got angled the wrong way and ended up separating my shoulder and fracturing a bone on my clavicle, kind of. So that put me out for the season last year, which was already a shortened season, but it would have been a fun one to be a part of because it was so condensed and there was a lot of hockey, and there were only 4 teams playing, including us, so it sucks that I had to miss that. So I always go back to that whenever I'm upset or frustrated or thinking about like how things aren't going my way or playing the victim for a minute. I always think back to like how it felt to not have a choice but to sit in the stands and watch all my friends and stuff. So that year definitely plays a huge role in my motivation. Freshman year was also something that I look back on and I'm grateful for, but also was a little bit of a tough time for me. Just personally, I was a freshman in college and I didn't really know what to expect. I've obviously been in the hockey world for my whole entire life, but people had been trying to prepare me and work hard in practice, do this, work hard in school, make sure you get your grades up. College is way harder than high school, so I was a little, to be honest, overwhelmed to get here and get into it. And I think some of that held me back for at least the first part of the year, which that year ended up getting cut off by COVID anyway. So I really do look back and think I wasted that time here. But yeah, so that was definitely one of the hardest things I had to overcome, because I was so, I guess in a way, anxious about kind of everything. I didn't have my best foot forward in any of the aspects of my life at that time, and so that was definitely hard to overcome. But I mean, in a way, like a tiny little bit of me is kind of happy that COVID and the pandemic and quarantine and all that happened, because it gave me a lot of time to reflect on how that time needed to progress and get better. So one thing I'm really grateful for with the coaching staff, they're always the kind of individuals and as a unit that are always gonna help you get better. Even if you're not in the best performance spot, if you're not playing, you're not traveling, and I've been in all of those spots, the outlook is always that here's what you need to get better, and you can do it, and you will get better. And again, as I said, I've been in those spots. Freshman year, I was in and out of the lineup here and there. I mean, that was just freshman year for me. I needed to grow. I needed the time, and with everything going on off the ice, I assumed that some of it leaked into my play, and I was nervous and not myself completely. And then I had a year off last year, basically. And then this year, I didn't travel the first weekend, and that was a big conversation between myself and the coaching staff. And again, the whole mindset, that whole conversation was, this is what you need to do, you can do it, and let's do it. And I mean, I think I've done a pretty good job. I hope Wellesley thinks so too, with coming back from that. I put my head down and I worked my best, worked as hard as I could right through it, and now I am really happy with where I'm at. I'm one of the bunch of forwards that gets to kill penalties. That's been something I've been super passionate about since I knew what killing penalties was from a young age. I think it's huge. I think it creates energy for the team. Killing off of a good penalty is one of the best things you can do in a hockey game, so I love being a part of that. And it's another thing that just really helps connect with the team, because again, the energy is the most important thing on the team, on the bench. I think a lot of people would agree with me when I say that, but yeah, it just comes back to being together with the team, and that's something I also lacked a little bit freshman year when I was, again, socially pretty anxious about where I fit in, but now I feel like I'm really a lot closer with a lot of people on the team. Overall, I think I'm in a lot better spot socially with everybody, and that makes everyone, including myself, want to be better and more motivated to win. Yeah, ever since Christmas, we've, I mean, the energy was always great, but we came back on something different since Christmas. We came back early. We got back on January 1st or 2nd, I can't remember now. And we had a little bit of a COVID run, a bunch of us had COVID, including myself. I think there were 11 of us total that ended up getting it. And I think that really scared some people in the health world, yes, but also just any game can be taken away from you kind of deal. So we finally got through it all, and everybody was back, and everybody was through protocol and everything. And we had to make up a game against Princeton because it had gotten canceled previously. And I remember Wellesley telling us that we were gonna drive down the Tuesday game up, the day of the game, and play them at, I think it was 6 or 7 p.m. and then stay the night and come back the next day and miss the first day of classes. And I think everyone, a lot of people, he was saying that he was calling people, telling them what we were doing, and people were thinking, are you crazy? And I mean, it was crazy. We went down, a bunch of us doing aerobic warm-ups and stuff on the bus, trying to keep our legs in a state that could be able to play a game when we got off the bus. And we got there, and we just, there was no lull at all. We just brought it to them. It was a crazy game to be a part of. That was the start of something great for us. I think from there on out, we won a bunch in a row. We were had a couple ties in there too, and maybe an OT loss, but we were great. And that led to the QPAC and Princeton weekend here at home that we ended up sweeping 3 games through. So. I always joke about how my role in warm-up is just to be crazy and like get everybody going and stuff, and I really like take pride in the fact that that is a role that needs to be filled, and if I wasn't doing it, I don't know who else would. I hope somebody else would pick it up, but I love doing that. It's funny for them. It gets me warmed up in a different way, so yeah, I take pride in the fact that happens, and sometimes it carries over onto the ice. Like, yeah, as you mentioned, I like dance on the bench. I guess I don't really notice as much as you do, but there are some definite moments where I'm dancing and stuff, but have to be careful when we're like winning games and can't be dancing when we're losing, so I gotta pick my spots with that one. But yeah, the energy is something that it transforms our team more than others. I think our team is best when we have everybody as a unit, like cheering each other on, but also just like even silent energy is just like, it always has to be good, and it's always like firing everybody up. So
9:27 to go in the second period. Now here's a breakaway. Côté has it. Down the left side, Côté toward goal, takes a shot, she scores! Laura Côté with a shorthanded tally.